All right, we're back with more King's Quest 6. Had a bit of a scare with this game. Went to go boot the game from the shortcut, and my saves were all gone. But I tested it about an hour before stream. It took me a solid 20 minutes or so to find out that I had to boot the game from Scum VM to get my saves back. So I'll try to leave a note to my future self at the end of the episode that I always do that when playing this game. The notes I left myself last session, I should finish resolving the conversation with the ferryman I just started. There was a creepy guy with a glowing eye in the hall earlier, and then we saw a mer-dude with a creepy glowing eye as well that killed us. We've gotten all the items at the pawn shop, but we haven't found a use for anything, and I can turn down the speed if needed to do certain puzzle encounters. So we're going to go ahead and start up this conversation here. I may need some help catching up on where we were before, if chat wouldn't mind. Why won't the live split timer go? Try restarting it. And it's like 2% of frames are dropping, so hopefully that'll pass on its own. Gonna give it a sec here to see if live split comes back up. It rains, it pours, there it is. Okay, yo.
I'm a visitor to these islands. I'd like to learn what I can about the area.
So you said outside. What is it you want to know?
Well, for one thing, why has the island's only ferry been dry docked?
Huh. It just ain't safe to sail these days. What with the islands feuding and all. Vizier Al-Hazred ordered the ferry closed till things settled down. Me, I don't think she'll ever see water again.
But why are the islands feuding?
You got me. Something about stolen property or some such thing. 'Tis a real shame. Things used to be so friendly.
Then this unrest is recent.
A few years is all, but it's been long enough.
Perhaps if the ferry were repaired.
This old thing? This ferry's been out of water so long she's no longer even seaworthy. Her boards have dry rot. She'd fall apart at the first taste of seawater.
But there must be some way to get off this island.
There's only one other way to travel that I know of. A magic map. The owner of the pawn shop can tell you more about that than I can, Alexander.
Magic map. Okay. That's Final Fantasy as fuck, isn't it, sir? What all's in this room?
Several oil lamps are strategically placed around the boat's cabin to eliminate the island's dark nights.
I like how this game manages to balance being simultaneously extremely silly and also taking the main story somewhat seriously.
A cabinet with a dry sink lines one wall of the cabin. There's a rabbit's foot on the table. It seems the ferryman is counting on a little luck. The ferryman is a disgruntled...
Campy but earnest, that's a good way to describe it.
A lot younger than he appears. Despite his tired air, he watches Alexander patiently.
It's that kind of, sincerity that I feel like we haven't seen a lot of from, 2001 to 2015. I mean, we're getting a little bit of it back now.
I see you have a rabbit's foot. Has it brought you much luck?
As you can see, my luck's been out for some time now, despite that old charm. Why don't you take it with you? Perhaps giving the darn thing away will bring me good fortune at last.
Perhaps it will at that. Thank you.
Alright. I think I stated last time that if I ever get to a point where
using an object on itself,
I'm gonna create an unwinnable state, just let me know.
Rabbit's foot has long, soft fur. The small
green mint, my ring, the tinder box, which is the thing I can trade out for other things, and my bargain book. Okay. Let's see if he has any other dialogue.
I remember when I used to ferry Queen Ilaria and Princess Cassima themselves. There was no thought of danger back then. They used to go visiting to care for the needy and to keep up the friendly relations between the islands. I remember their last trip. Things had started getting nasty by then, and when they came back aboard, I gathered that the Queen and the Princess had been received a bit coldly. Princess Cassima was such a pretty thing, and she was terribly upset. But who could be spreading these lies, she asked the Queen. but the queen had no answer.
Well,
A nice little handshake on the way out.
thanks for allowing me into your home.
Posh, not at all. It breaks the boredom, if you know what I mean.
Poor guy. This is where I ran into the mer dude. Told me to jump in the water and totally killed me. Going to the pawn shop since he said that that guy knew about this magic map. Hey, thanks for the raid, book club.
Day.
Oh, who's this dude's new?
A mysterious old man also patronizes the pawn shop. He steals sidelong glances at Alexander from under his hood.
How have y'all been?
Good day, sir.
The old man just glares at Alexander and does not reply.
What game have y'all been playing this week, book club?
Excuse me, merchant, but the ferryman mentioned that you might have a magic map of the land of the Green Isles.
Why, as a matter of fact, I do. I keep it under the counter. It's been gathering dust so long that I nearly forgot about it. It was quite a few years ago, you see. The estate of a wealthy wizard fell into my hands when he died. It was useless magical junk mostly, which reminds me, I've still got some things of his in the back that I need to dump out. Anyway, the magic map was the one true treasure in the lot. The wizard was quite old and feeble and had enchanted the map to aid in traveling. It is said that one need only desire to be on an island depicted on the map to find oneself there. It
Sounds
is a
convenient.
very valuable map, as you can imagine. Unfortunately, no one is interested in traveling these days. It is far too dangerous with the current state of the kingdom.
Just all these relevant lines of dialogue in games.
I would normally want something magic in return, but since I am hardly overrun with prospective buyers, I would be willing to take anything of equal value in exchange.
Anything of equal value. Alright, let me save before I do anything here. I think I just leave it and it just gives it a timestamp, right? Yeah, perfect. Let's see, we're assuming that I have a thing right now. I guess I'll try the rabbit's foot.
Would you be interested in making a trade for this, merchant?
A rabbit's foot. I do not believe I could use that.
How about...
There's no point in using an object on itself.
He gave me the tinderbox, so not that. Maybe my ring?
Would you be willing to take my family ring in exchange for the magic map?
Daventry, are you a king then?
No, that's my father, King Graham. I'm just Alexander.
Well, Prince Alex, she is a beautiful ring. Are you sure you can part with such a unique family heirloom?
The ring does mean a lot to me. I didn't always have a family, you know. Still, it is only gold. There are more important things at stake now.
Then you now own a magic map, Prince Alex.
Oh, nice.
I will keep your ring out of sight for a few days. If you find anything else of great value in your travels, you can come back for your ring. I would
Oh, that's nice of him.
down for gold. Ah, and
What about the map?
It will only operate when you are out in the open and within sight of the sea. The limitation has something to do with the teleport spell ingredients. You might try the beach.
Thank you. You are very kind, and I'll remember about the map.
Limitation has something to do with... us.
Suddenly, the
Oh, wait,
old
wait, this is
man
over.
in the concealing cloak sneaks past Alexander, and with a sneaky dart of his hand, steals a mint from the candy jar. The old man stuffs the mint into his mouth and wobbles unsteadily out of the pawn shop.
It's a strange enchantment on the map that prevents you from using it in places that could cause you to soft lock. Seconds later, in the castle.
Master! I followed Prince Alexander as you wished.
from the pawn shop owner. He just abstained, just reprieved. He just got a magic map.
And he's out.
Fool! You've been eating those mints again. I ordered you to stop that.
Yes, master.
Alright, I have one of those
What is
mints.
this
That's
about a
interesting.
magic map?
With the map, Prince Alexander could travel anywhere as quickly, quickly as I can.
I thought I took
Oh, he's
care
got the
of
shiny
your means
eye.
of travel. By my scimitar, I can't have him stirring things up now. Get a hold of yourself and listen
Clear
carefully,
notice if the old man
Shaggy.
did.
Go to the other islands and tell them.
I was going to say earlier, I didn't want to interrupt the excellent voice acting. Like, once there started to be custom dialogue for me offering the ring, I kind of had this, like, Phoenix Wright feeling of, yes, that was the right option. But then I had to remind myself that these King's Quest games have custom dialogue for, like, almost every possible combination of a key with a keyhole. There we go. Does this count as the beach pier, maybe? Let me save. Okay. Let's use the map.
The magic map doesn't teleport objects.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Mint condition. Isle of the Sacred Mountain, Isle of the Beast, Isle of Wonder, Isle of the Crown. Let's do Wonder
Alexander
first.
feels a strange pulling sensation.
Whoa. Isle of Man.
The oyster already looks a little perturbed and probably wouldn't appreciate being picked up by Alexander. One of the oysters is sitting up in bed and doesn't look very happy. He seems to be the only one who can't sleep.
Right, sir.
In the oyster's mouth, Alexander can see a glint of white.
Of white.
A string of letters floats in the water. The letters spell out, "Where are you going?" Alexander's heard of alphabet soup, but this is ridiculous.
Why aren't you asleep like the other oysters?
Oh, I'm so weary, but I can't sleep. I have a terrible ache in my mouth.
Very familiar sounding voice actress.
What's wrong with your mouth?
No offense, but it hurts too much to talk.
What's wrong with your mouth?
No offense, but it hurts too.
It's not Nancy Cartwright, is it? Maybe before she was getting, like, insane bank for anything? Let's see. Do you want a mint?
That won't do anything for the little oyster.
Poor oyster. I'll remember that for later. What else is out
Oyster
here?
beds line the seashore. Most of the oysters are sound asleep.
Mercy Taylor. Okay.
Alexander hears someone coming.
"5 fierce guards of the isle we be. Watch for a foreign man," said he, "with ears and nose, tongue, hands, and eyes. Its nature cannot be disguised. If mad it be, then mad it dies. Old Tantro, smell your smell. Do that which you do so well."
Beds are freaky looking.
A gnome with a huge nose stands before Alexander. 4 gnomes stand waiting in line.
Each with a different sense.
4 gnomes. 4 gnomes.
"Alert, my brothers, as we feared. A man has landed here." A man so fair knows
Potion seller.
the way his sea goes.
Alright, so I need to not be a man when I get here. Got it.
The gnomes toss Alexander too far out into the sea for him to get his footing. The currents drag him under.
Nice. There's something, I mean, I know a lot of modern adventure games go with
Tickets.
not letting you die, but I
Next.
feel like that's a trade-off from a
Guess
storytelling
those gnomes
perspective.
couldn't reach a consensus.
Consensus. Jeez. Should be ashamed of themselves.
Alexander.
So I need to do something to change my smell. It looks like I need to get past all of the gnomes, would be my guess. I think maybe the key is to just, like, have an in-game mechanic that automatically sets you back in time. Maybe try using the rabbit's foot.
The blue ocean stretches on for as far as Alexander can see.
Yeah.
A string of letters. One of the oysters. In the oyster's mouth,
Why aren't you...
Oh,
What's wrong?
no offense.
What's wrong with your mouth? I'm gonna try to warp out before they show up. I could try using the rabbit's foot to distract the nose gnome.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
I'll save once I get here. Could also be to, like, tickle the gnome's nose or something.
Alexander takes the feather. There's an ugly flower growing near the base of the cliff.
It's mean to the flower.
Alexander picks the flower and is startled by its hideously strong skunk-like odor.
Okay.
For a moment he can smell nothing else.
More things to do with the gnomes. Got it.
Colors of flame burst from the center of the incredibly stinky flower and drip onto its petals. The flower's appearance is as flamboyant as its smell. Alexander is carrying an unusually large black feather. There appears to be something etched into the face of the cliff. Alexander decides to get closer.
This doesn't end well. Melon. Ignorance kills. Wisdom elevates.
The rock has been etched by some unknown hand. One may need to read about the Logic Cliffs in the guidebook to the Land of the Green Isles in order to understand this mystical inscription.
Huh. That's not like a old school form of anti-piracy, right? They're not talking about the manual. Oh, shit.
The rock. There appears to...
Okay, so don't press it initially.
There appears to be no way past the cliffs. Though roughly hewn, the cliffs do not provide regular handholds for climbing, and they seem otherwise impenetrable.
Alright, I'll try going back to the library if it's not DRM.
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Oh, this beach. Alright, that makes sense. Oh, is Brutus strong? It is manual DRM? Yeah, there was something like that in one of the Monkey Island games, wasn't there? Yeah, like a viewfinder thing. I've seen it in a couple of these older adventure games. See if I can pull it up. King's Quest 6 manual. It's cool. Just misremembering Brutus. King's Quest 6 manual. Yeah, looks like it's free. Land of the Green Isles, Part 1. Alright, I'll see if I can bring this up on stream. Give me one sec here. Manual. Okay, try to zoom in so y'all can see a little bit better here. Blah, blah, blah. Land of the Green Isles. Ancient kingdom ruled by a royal family designated as the Crown. Citizens of the kingdom of unique. Can recite the names of the holders of the crown spanning back hundreds of years. Can speak each dwelling's origin. Every citizen's lineage. When asked how the kingdom began, bewilderment is the response. The kingdom has always been. There's always been a royal family. Now the crown is the center of the kingdom. There is Castle of the Crown. Isle of the Beast is the least hospitable. Isle of the Sacred Mountain. Alright, before I go further, let me go back and look at the message that had popped up. It might be Isle of the Sacred Mountain. Creatures of the Winged Race. Alright, I'm gonna head back there real quick. See if I can solve it. Item. I do like stuff like this, even if it's DRM, if that's the purpose. The frequency to call Merrills on the back of the box, stuff like that.
There appears to be something etched into the face of the cliff. The rock has been etched by some unknown hand. One may need to read about the Logic Cliffs in the guidebook to the Land of the Green Isles in order to understand this mystical inscription.
No, I think that's extra cool. The word logic. Does it actually have a section here? Guidebook to the Land of the Green Isles. Docs. Logic Cliffs 32. I didn't realize the entire manual was called that. That makes more sense. Logic Cliffs. One of the most intriguing artifacts left by the ancient ones are the Logic Cliffs. The cliffs are so named from a series of riddles written on the face of the cliffs. Leading from the beach of the Isle of the Sacred Mountain to the Winged One's city. Chiseled painstakingly into solid rock, the viewer must question what purpose the words serve. In the ancient scroll that references the cliffs, it can be determined that the riddles on the cliff are part of an elaborate mechanism designed to protect those who dwelt at the top of the cliffs from undesirables. Huh. Following translations from the Cliffs of Logic scroll may help the reader understand the mystique that surrounds this artifact. Only those pure of heart will be able to rise the Cliffs of Logic.
Nothing happens. There appears...
Specific first instances of those letters, perhaps?
There appears... Nothing happens.
I think there have to be other ones later, unless they're saying there are multiple options here.
The granite cliffs cannot... There appears...
I think I can spell ascend, right?
Nothing happens.
Okay.
There appears...
First, third, and fifth challenge. This pure heart will be able to rise the cliffs of logic. Making sure there's not an additional page here. No, this is the catacombs. Rise, ascend. 4 men standing in a row. Third from the left and down you go. The rest in order move you on. The youngest, oldest, and the second son. It says first, third, and fifth challenge. There's not enough lines for that to correspond. Is this puzzle exactly the same in everyone's copy of the game? Does it have the same solution every time? It does? Okay. So I can do both rise and ascend, but that's skipping one of the answers.
Nothing happens. There appears...
Rise. Ascend. And then the third puzzle is 4 men standing in a row. Third from the left and down you go. The rest in order move you on. The youngest, the oldest, and the second son.
Nothing happens. There appears...
So my original plan here was to just spell the word rise. Is that on the right track to the solution here?
Nothing. There appears... Nothing happened. There appears...
Does it matter which R, I, S, and E I select?
There appears... Nothing happened. There appears...
How many of these... So this listed as multiple challenges, and there's not enough challenges to correspond here. This is just the first challenge of spell the word rise, right? That's the only thing I care about right now. Okay. I tried doing the first instance of each of the letters, and that didn't do it.
Huge blocks of stone
there we go.
erupt from the granite cliffs.
Because they're not lined up, but I guess that makes sense. First try.
Alexander stares with wonder. That's quite a way to welcome a guest, if indeed it is a welcome.
Cool. Save. Alright. So maybe this is just... The challenge is just climb.
Moved any further backwards or forwards.
Try walking up, though. The music while he's climbing, it's great. Assume that this is the second challenge. Got this, Alexander. Fall to his death.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
Master of languages will... Blank, 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 blank. The stones of stealth. Oh, don't we have... I thought I just scrolled past the thing that explained what all these things are. Yeah, okay. Well, you guys can see the document here, but I don't want to keep alt-tabbing. So I'm going to pull it up on my phone. I'll try to alt-tab to this if there's something new for me to review. 4 men standing in a row. Third from the left and down you go. The rest in order move you on. The youngest, oldest, and the second son. A master of languages will... What? Alright, so it's YOS, or third could be in there. It's called the Stones of Stealth. This is pretty old school as far as puzzles go. This isn't a riddle that I should know from something like like Riddles in the Dark and The Hobbit, right? I usually get to cheat riddles with those sorts of things. So let me try to think about it. I'm going to pull up the translator here. Oh, there we go. So each of these symbols corresponds with a letter of the alphabet, and they have other associations like grief, colors, materials. Assuming that the riddle rhymes, Master of Languages will talk, maybe? I'll just try that and then fall to my death, inevitably, right? T is this one. A is... this one. L is... this one. Doesn't seem to be associated with the riddle, though, so I don't think this is right. But I thought I'd try a word that jumps to mind.
Nothing happens.
Hey, he didn't fall to his death, though. That's nice.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
Master of languages will something. Associate with the riddle. 4 men standing in the row. Third from the left and down you go. The rest in order, move you on. Youngest, oldest, and the second son. What could that possibly have to do? Guess if chat's able to give a hint, can I? Well, okay. Before you give a direct hint, am I right that this is the third challenge, the Stones of Stealth, and that I can get the answer from the riddle that's on the? I'll tab back to it real quick. Or are those not related? Oh, this is the second challenge. So this page isn't going to help me. Thank you. Okay. I thought the second challenge was climbing the stairs, so there's quite a bit more after this one. Gotcha. Alright. Well, I can get the letters together. The Master of Languages will talk. Other 4-letter words. Let me see if the Logic Cliffs chapter will read it here. Those on the cliff are part of an elaborate mechanism designed to protect those who dwell at the top of the cliffs. Undesirable as it might arrive at the sea below. It's built to admit only those indoctrinated into the secrets of the Ancient One's culture. We haven't benefited from, I can't control F this, can I? No. But it's loud as shit. Let's not do that again. Rise, ascend. What's another synonym for rise, maybe? Ancient One's alphabet. This is an entire page on their alphabet? Okay. Guess we can start, just read about the Ancient Ones in general. Inhabited the Isle of the Sacred Mountain, perhaps as much as 1,000 years ago. There's no kingdom, and the Ancient Ones existed alone in the sea. An advanced, mysterious culture. Possess knowledge, mechanical acuity, far surpassing anything that exists today. Is this a good use of my time reading the rest of this chapter? I'm just trying to think, like, is this the kind of game that would put all of it on this page here? I'll keep reading in the meantime. It is, okay. Sorry, scholars of that race. Believers in the power of language. They're fond of saying, a master of languages will soar. Holy crap. Okay, see, this is the kind of game, it's like La Mulana, where you kind of have to understand, like, the scope of a puzzle in order to be able to know what you should be looking at in the first place. So, knowing that it could extend, I was originally thinking it was going to be like a Monkey Island style, like, viewfinder. Just enter the code to show that you own the manual, but that's pretty neat. So soar is something. Here we go. S is, I guess it is another, kind of goes with ascend and rise. O looks like a little dude. This guy, little dude with a mustache. Looks like a Lisa character. A. R.
The stone beneath Alexander's
Nice.
feet
This is pretty cool.
trembles as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
Up we go. Walk. I love that little sound effect as you climb. Alright, so this one is the third challenge then.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff. 4 plain stone buttons have been carved into the cliffs. One may need to read about the logic cliffs in the guidebook to the land of the Green Isles in order to understand these stones.
Oh, alright. 4 men standing in a row, third from the left and down you go, the rest in order move you on, youngest, oldest, and the second son. So it could be 1, 4, 2, 3. Try that.
Alexander gets the feeling that was the wrong button.
Oops!
Oops. Nice. I like how they didn't kill you on the first one.
Alexander...
So I think like that's definitely 1. Okay. Third from the left. Down you go. It's got coyote time, just like Celeste. I guess it could be that one. Okay. So, and down you go. So if second is the 4th one, then the third one has to be this one.
Alexander gets the feeling that was the wrong button.
So it gives you the wrong, it yells at you at a random pace. You can't just brute force it, it looks like. Okay. Never mind. Third from the left and down you go. So if it's third from the left, maybe we're starting from the third one, and that's the youngest. Let's try that. Oops. Didn't even think that was possible. Fantastic. Just walk off the edge. Alright.
Alexander gets the feeling that was the wrong button.
Interesting. So I wonder how quickly it yells at you. Like, I'm just in a brute force just to see here. So it lets me press the first one or the second one first. So it allows some amount of cheese here. It's pretty great. Okay.
Alexander?
So it still has some cheese prevention. Third from the left and down you go. The rest in order move you on. The youngest, the oldest, and the second son. So maybe it's not pressing all 4 buttons at all. Let's try... Oops. I have a count of the number of times I gravity myself there. Alright. Switch to the finger.
Alexander.
If it's just a code, it could be youngest, oldest, second son. So that could be 1, 4,
you win
2.
again, gravity.
I did not mean to do that.
Alexander.
Sure that nothing happens. Or it could be the opposite. It could be 4, 1, 2. Hey! That was way more simple than I thought. The rest of the riddle was irrelevant. Just the last line was what mattered. It's pretty cool. God for save scumming. I think this is my favorite implementation of manual-based DRM, other than I guess the one in Metal Gear Solid 1 is pretty fun, too. Alright, let me save again, since falling is definitely a thing.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
Sacred 4. Now I don't have a limited number of slots. Alright, and this one I don't have a clue for, so... Sacred 4. Language will soar. First intellectual heights rather than physical ones. Your lover of symbols, complex theology, worshipped all things aerial. Study the emotional states of being. Okay, every emotion, like every creature, color, and element, ranked high or low on their theological scale. The lowest being base or primitive, the highest being pure. The top of the scale were the sacred 4, the emotion tranquility, the color azure, the creature caterpillar, and the element air. That's cool. Okay, so it's 4 symbols. So that's from the symbol list here, where it says harmony, the cat, sienna, earth. I'm just going to look those up on my phone rather than alt-tab back and forth here. So it was caterpillar, air, azure, tranquility. Possibly in that order. Tranquility is the one that looks like a castle. Castle. This one. Okay. I'm assuming the order matters. Tranquility, azure. Brown, green, beige, gold. Okay, it looks like the mustache man. There he is. Caterpillar air, right? After that? Caterpillar. Tortoise, serpent, monkey, horse, lion, cow, warthog, rabbit. Caterpillar looks like little stairs. This guy. And the element air. Okay, I think I see it. Looks like this one? No. It does look kind of like that one. Huh, I know what the symbol is, but I don't see it in the list. Let me put it on screen. Oh wait, no, I just found it. There it is.
The stone beneath
Hey,
Alexander's
first
feet
try.
trembles as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
Trying to think of other games where we've had like this, what is the possible scope of the puzzle? One Shot had it a lot, or was like, okay, puzzles might require me to look at my system files, right? Puzzles might require me to look at the manual, look at multiple pages in the manual. Yeah, this is pretty terrifying. This is the one that was Ascend, I think was the clue. I assume like you have to actually click on the step, and if you misclick between the steps, you just fall. I could totally see that freaking you out as a kid. Alright.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff. Ascend,
right? All silent cry the noble boulders. Only those of the highest order may ascend the cliffs of
The stone beneath Alexander's
Hey.
feet trembles as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
So the last one worked the way I expected the first one to work. Got it. Let me go ahead and save, just in case I get up to the top of the cliff and then I just get, like, killed instantly for some reason. This is a really cool sequence, though. The DRM part is going to be the part of King's Quest VI that's guaranteed to stick with me.
Alexander finds himself, finally, at the top of the cliffs. Exhausted, he steps over the lip of the plateau and stands.
Why do you
Ooh,
make such
he's got
an
the
effort to
shiny
climb the
eye.
cliffs, young man? The winged ones who live on this island have the power of flight. You could have it too, if you'd only eat a berry from this magical flying nightshade bush.
All of those things sound bad.
See? The sweet berries will make you float like a petal on the wind. Try some.
I don't believe you. You have a spooky glowing eye.
The old woman has a pleasant, grandmotherly face, but something about her makes Alexander uneasy. Black berries grow only at the top of the bush.
They're
as though
nightshade
straining
berries,
towards
too.
the sun.
Take a mint.
Would you care for a mint?
Mint? Really? Ooh! Mmm.
Just because they had that little interstitial scene earlier.
Oops. I'll just be going now.
How odd. That woman simply disappeared.
Simply disappeared. How odd indeed. Alright, I don't know if that was actually what I was supposed to do.
Blackberry.
So it's possible for the player to know things that the
Alexander
character
decides
shouldn't
to
know.
try some of the blackberries on the plant.
And then I die anyway, right?
A bitter taste fills his mouth. His stomach convulses in pain.
I was trying to just pick up a berry, not eat one.
As the poison takes effect, Alexander is left wondering if this is the kind of flying the old lady meant.
Shock and
Oh
awe.
my god. Oh my god! Although actually it was sort of obvious.
The huge doors are locked tight. Somebody obviously wants to keep something out, or something in.
Spooky.
Huge doors are set into the solid rock of the mountain.
I only knew they were lying because of the glowing eye thing, because I already got tricked by the merman earlier.
Alexander sees nothing unusual about that boulder.
And they made sure to call out the eye glowing thing and wanting mints earlier.
Look, an intruder! Hold! How did you get up here, human?
Dicketh Dicketh.
Climbed the cliffs.
That is not possible. No one has solved the cliffs of logic in several centuries. And if the cliffs were to be solved, it would certainly not be by a human.
I didn't mean to trespass. I only wanted to visit this
Really
beautiful
pronounce the
island.
HU
No
in
visitors
human.
have been welcome on the Isle of the Sacred Mountain in years. Not since the Red and White Queens had spies in the guise of friendly visitors steal our
Spies in the
sacred golden
guise.
fleece. But we will not display such foolish trust again. You will have to answer to Lord Azure and Lady Ariel. They will determine what will be done with you, I can assure you. It will not be pleasant.
Great. It's pretty great.
With what trickery did you master the cliffs of logic and reach the city of the winged ones?
I have a manual.
Only the magic of clear thought, my lord. I meant no harm.
The cliffs of logic. It is the sacred oracle's prophecy, Azure.
Yes, Ariel. It is lucky for you, human, that climbing the cliffs of logic is part of a prophecy that I cannot ignore. We have just been ordered by Vizier
swallow a hairball
himself to dispose of any strangers that might land on our fair isle. But the prophecy would have a different fate befall you.
The prophecy predicts that whosoever climbs the cliffs of logic will defeat the Minotaur.
Oh, cool.
The Minotaur has violated our sacred catacombs and eats our young in sacrifice. Our own daughter, Lady Celeste, was taken there only this morning as his most recently demanded offering.
That's dark.
A dilemma, then. Whom shall I obey in regards to your fate? The Oracle or the Crown? But since Alhazred did not dictate how I was to dispose of intruders, and since you cannot possibly survive the catacombs, your imprisonment there should serve both purposes quite admirably.
That's smart.
I will not resist you in this, my lord. I shall do my best to save your daughter.
First, I must tell you that the catacombs are a labyrinth of rooms, a place of exceeding danger. You will need many tools and clear wits to survive it.
Azure, he must be allowed time to prepare for the task, if only in the slight chance that he could actually save our Celeste.
Oh, very well. Intruder, my guards will take you to the beach. Prophesied hero or spy, any soldier must be granted time to prepare for battle. Be warned, if you have the courage to actually return to the Isle of the Sacred Mountain and face your destiny,
that's helpful of them. How modern game design of them.
Catacombs on sight.
I understand, Lord Azure.
If by some miracle you succeed, human, the prophecy grants you a visit with the sacred oracle. Her powers are mighty, her vision all-seeing. Many of our own citizens would be willing to risk certain death in the catacombs for a chance at a meeting with the oracle. May that thought give you the courage to return.
Take your time, though.
Oh, I will return, Lady Ariel. You have my word.
Am I able to do the challenge now with the items I have? I assume the answer is no, since this is like the first island I went to. And because they were kicking me out to go prepare. Save. Warp.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Let's try the Isle of the Beast, which I'm sure is nothing dangerous.
Feels a strange pulling sensation.
Cannot brave the catacombs yet. Thank you. Oh, are you the beast? Oh, really? If you had everything you needed, you'd just be thrown in there. That's cool.
On a grassy hillock near the sea.
Yeah, that's remarkably modern of them.
On each side of the path. The water seems tranquil at the moment, but a dimpling pattern on the surface indicates a strong undertow.
Okay.
This heavily forested isle is dotted with rough granite rocks. Nearby, the stump of a fallen tree still spreads its roots to the sea. Alexander is standing at the edge of the sea on a heavily forested island. As far as the eyes can see, tall trees spread out their branches as though straining to link arms, their tops forming a canopy above. A path leads north through the forest.
Cool. Let's go. Are you the beast?
A rabbit hops about rather fearlessly. It's probably never even seen a human. The forest is dotted with clumps of wild mushrooms.
Oh, I've never made a better decision in my
Alexander,
life.
not being an expert on poisonous mushrooms, decides not to take a chance on tasting the local variety.
But he's okay to taste the completely suspicious nightshade plant.
Tall, narrow trees have sparse and relatively small branches on their lower trunks. They don't lend themselves to easy climbing.
Do I get a separate thing for look?
Tall, narrow trees.
That's cool.
A pond lies across the path. The water boils as if over some magical flame.
Great.
An old abandoned hunter's lamp is hanging on one of the trees. Alexander wonders who might have hunted in these dense woods. Alexander is traveling on a... Alexander decides to brave the boiling pond.
I'm shocked.
And soon realizes a deep sympathy for soup vegetables as he learns the true meaning of being in a stew.
Is this the true meaning of being in a stew? Oh, okay. I guess I didn't save after that one.
Alexander.
He's fine. It's fine. Let me save. I know. Show the rabbit's foot to the rabbit. That seems like a not terrible.
To do that to the mushroom. Alexander doesn't want to do anything to disturb the local wildlife.
Okay.
That would have no effect on the boiling pond.
What could possibly have an effect on the boiling pond? I need to double check what the list of items were from the pawn shop. It's been a really long time. Try talking to the pond. That makes sense, right?
Listen here, pond. I wish to pass.
The pond, rather hot-headedly, refuses to respond.
Oh, that's the fucking shit.
Alexander is greeted with silence.
Listen here, pond.
The response Alexander gets from the tree is the faint sound of wind in its upper branches.
Oh, I don't know what just got cleared. I'm trying to play this blind. I might ask directly for hints on certain things, but if you type !hide before your message, chat can see what you said without me being able to see it. Ludifex, I thought you were just... Did you just type out the list of things that I could get? Do you mind reposting that? Alright, let me...
Alexander...
I'm gonna try the Isle of Wonder now that I have the stinky flower.
Alexander...
But I might need more things there still. Mechanical nightingale, tinderbox, flute, and brush. None of those really seem to fit.
Alexander hears someone coming.
Yeah, I'm impressed at the volume of voice acting for all of the different... Like, I've never played an adventure game that has this many... I've talked to these guys before. Prompts for this many mixes of key and keyhole, right? Alright.
Alexander holds the flower of stench out to the gnome with the jumbo nose.
Tom Trow I am, that's all I'll be. My nose knows all on land and sea. A flower of stench has washed ashore. A flower 'tis all, and nothing more.
Alright, we have to fool all 5 of them, right?
Do your duty as you swore. With your ears, please tell us more.
With your ears... Probably need the flute or something, right?
Alexander holds the item out for the gnome with
That seems wrong.
ears.
My ears can hear nothing so clear as the sound of a man standing here.
And I'm dead. Let me go back to the shop then. So perhaps I could use the flute. Or the mechanical nightingale.
Alexander pulls out. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
We...
To take the path,
You'd only walk down it. Yeah, they're pretty creepy. Faces are weird looking. I guess now we'll find out if I can get my mint back too. Good day. Can I have another mint, please?
Alexander takes a mint.
Perfect! Ability to permanently
The
dispel,
small green mint looks very tasty.
but it makes you drunk or something. Yo, can I trade this for something else?
Alexander, there's no reason to.
Would you be interested in trading for this book?
I am afraid not.
Oops,
Books
wrong
are
thing.
more my neighbor's line of work. After all, I would not want him selling curiosities.
100 times that, dang. I pay for business internet and I get 50 down, 10 up.
Would you mind if I traded this in?
Of course, Prince Alex. Please choose something in exchange for the items on the counter.
Alexander looks closely at the items on the counter to make his selection.
Okay. So I think we want to trick him into thinking that it's anything but a
That
human,
mechanical
right?
nightingale looks intriguing. I believe I'll take it.
Very good, Prince Alex. It is always a pleasure doing business with you. Enjoy the mechanical nightingale and feel free to bring it back anytime.
Thank you.
Will. Yep, business internet, and I pay 150 bucks a month for it. That's what happens when you live in a Comcast monopoly. You have zero reason to offer anything better than that. It was so convenient when they sent out a notice to everyone living in markets with zero competition saying, hey, we've added data caps only in your markets. What a coinky-dink.
Alexander.
Isle of Wonder.
Alexander feels a.
There he goes. I guess I clicked on the water. Nice, son. I wish. Save really quick.
Alexander.
Try to dismiss their text here because we've seen it before.
5 Old Tom.
Old Tom Trow. Smell your smell.
Alexander holds the flower of.
Tom Trow I am.
Okay. Creepy ear guy.
Do your duty as you swore.
Let's try the nightingale.
Alexander winds the tin nightingale and
Perfect.
plays it for the gnome with the monumental ears.
It's something winding. Just wind it as slowly as you possibly can. That's pretty silly.
A nose is not a way to spy. My ears cannot be told a lie. A nightingale is all there be. No man is near, and so say me.
God, they're creepy. It's portraits.
Taste, Grump, that we might know whether friend or
Taste.
foe.
This is some, like, labyrinth, like, Dark Crystal, never-ending story shit. He gets the mint, right?
Alexander holds the mint out for the gnome with the gigantic mouth.
Grump knows a tasty treat. It matters not what others bleat. No danger is this one so sweet. Trilly dilly.
Classic voice.
Is it beast or is it man?
Alright, let's use the rabbit fur.
Alexander holds the rabbit
Nice.
foot out for the gnome with the huge hands.
So what am I going to do with the eyes guy? That's the question.
Be all you mad? What aileth thee? A bunny can't trill merrily. A hare does not at all taste sweet. A rabbit here is all we...
Droopy Dog, that was a character I was searching for.
Old Bill Batter, never fatter. Vision can resolve this matter. Look you now and end this chatter.
Alright, what's he looking at? I'm out of things to show him. Yeah, the 5 senses. It's fun. I guess I'll just ask chat. Am I able to solve this with my current inventory? Because 4 out of 5 seems pretty good. I'll show him the feather because I don't have any other guesses. Not yet.
Alexander holds the item out for the gnome with the enormous eyes.
My eyes cannot distracted be. A man I see, and so say me. A man, so say our eyes. A man he be, a man he dies.
And then I died. Alright, so since I'm 4 out of 5 on that, I'd really like to solve that puzzle.
Alexander too far out into the sea for him to get his footing.
Do I have access to whatever item I need to be able to solve the last one? I guess that's a tough question. Technically, if I play the whole game, I'll get it eventually. Is there a screen I can go to get the item that I need right now? I guess I would say. Should be able to get it. Okay, thank you. Well, I know I can't go anywhere from this island.
One of the oysters is sitting up in bed and doesn't look very happy. He seems to be the only one who can't sleep.
Why don't you let me see if I can help?
No way! No one's looking in my mouth. I hate dentists.
So since she was Minnie Mouse, is she also one of the DuckTales characters? Let's go somewhere else.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Webby, that's right, thank you. Isle of the Beast, I couldn't do anything else on. Sacred Mountain, I have to come back when I do other stuff, so maybe it's Isle of the Crown, because I haven't been there in a while.
Sensation.
I think I did everything there was to do here. Cool dog guards, where Tony J lives. I did everything there was to do back here. It was Webby? Nice.
The bushes near the side wall of the castle. The bushes.
I guess I've got new items now. I don't know what to do with the feather. Maybe there's multiple uses for the rabbit's foot.
Hello. I will be right up.
I did everything there was to do in here for now.
What can I do for you?
An odd-looking man is reading in the stuffed chair. He wears a vest, balloon-style pants, and pointed shoes. There's something deliberately silly about the man, as though he were a performer of some sort.
Oh, lame, sir.
Good day, sir. Is there anything you can tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
I'm sorry, but I have no time for idle conversation. I'm too worried about the princess.
Love this voice, too.
The fellow in the chair seems to want to be left alone. An odd-looking man is reading in the...
How fare you, merchant?
I have been reading too much love poetry lately. It is rather depressing to an old bachelor like me.
Something missable.
Snap, crackle, pop.
Oh, in this room here? Oh, before I come to the bookstore right now, you mean? Or from like a really long time ago? You can still get it.
There's a small table near the door that bears a sign. The sign has undergone a number of changes. It once read 10 pence. The table
I remember this from before. I already got this book from before.
Alexander is carrying a book from the bargain table in the bookshop. That object has nothing to say. Alexander opens the bargain book and reads a paragraph at random.
2 dulcimers raised to the degree of
I
40
remember this being like super boring,
divided
right?
into equal parts by the third of a cackle of grouse geese.
Phew, what an incredibly boring book.
Maybe I can use that to put the oyster to sleep? I could try that. So you're saying that I should just do something before I leave this room, is that right? Try just using items
Can I
on
interest
here.
you in this?
No thanks. You see, I can make people laugh well enough without the aid of a feather.
Man, the amount of custom dialogue is shocking. So something happened right as I loaded into the building. Okay.
Alexander.
In case anyone's confused, I'm fine with being warned against missables or soft lock situations. There's no other way for me to know, and I don't want to go way back later in the game, so... Oh, just don't go in the bookstore. Okay. Gotcha.
Alexander sorts through the odds and ends that the pawn shop owner dumped into the pot.
Wait, when did the pawn shop owner dump something in the pot?
Exploding gum wrappers, a shattered crystal ball, a cracked wand, a fake thumb.
I want all of those. This is an adventure game.
Near the bottom, Alexander finds a little glass bottle labeled ink. It appears to be empty, but Alexander decides to take it anyway. You never know when a small bottle will come in handy.
What about all those other things? I could use literally all of those things.
Alexander's carrying a little ink bottle. It appears to be empty.
I must have missed it. I never looked in the bottle. I was just clicking stuff here.
Alexander is not in the market for pottery just now in his life. Alexander isn't interested in the gourd-shaped jugs. Alexander sees nothing particularly interesting there. Alexander can enter the building by using the shop's door.
Just clicking everything.
Wooden shutters frame the village's windows. Alexander has no need to disturb the shutters.
Even that, like, custom dialogue for clicking on a window. Crazy. Alright, well, that's a new thing.
Alexander doesn't want to intrude on private property unless he's been invited.
Which I definitely have not been.
the entrance to the house is a time-worn wooden door. Rocks abound on this lush volcanic isle. A pot etched by the natural elements of the island decorates the porch.
I saw a lady walk out here earlier, but I didn't get a chance to talk to her. I don't know if that was just timed or what.
Oh, it's you. Come on in.
Thanks, dude. Glad we can be friends.
How goes it, Alexander?
What do you do now that the ferry no longer operates?
Me? I'm out of a job. The job my ancestors have held for generations.
I like the camera
I'm the
angle
one
in this
trained
room.
to avoid the reef and the rocks. But that knowledge does me no good now.
Is there no other boat on the island? One that might be more seaworthy?
Boats don't last long on these shoals, as you may have found out if you got here by ship. You can be quite sure that this old ferry is, or was, the only craft on the island.
Tell me more about Princess Cassima.
Ah, such a beautiful child, and so pure of heart. Why, a contrary thought has never crossed her mind. Her mother was the same. The king and queen, they served the islands, not the other way around, always thinking about the people. Ah, they are sorely missed.
What else can you tell me about the land?
Let's see. The Isle of Wonder's a lovely spot. A bit crazy, mind you. Gotta have a good sense of humor to enjoy a tour there.
Well, thanks again for your hospitality.
You're always welcome, Alexander. Come back anytime.
Look how pure and sincere Alexander appears to be. Alright, I'm gonna go try using the boring book on the Oyster, and then I'm out of ideas and might have to ask for... I think the way I'll ask for hints is just a screen that I can do something on. But wait until after I do the Oyster before that. Maybe it will make things very clear.
Alexander...
I don't know if this is gonna work. I thought maybe I needed like a dental something or other. Here, you want to hear a boring book?
If you're having trouble sleeping,
hey,
perhaps you'd like me to read to you.
Hey, that would be great.
2
no
dulcimers
graphic
raised
for
to the
it.
degree of 40 half-dulcimers, divided into equal parts by the third of a cackle of grouse geese, put over the result of 10 fine mackles, albeit small fine mackles, stretched over the total of 53 1/8 bottles of wild beast lard. Yields a gilded minnow of precise measurements, 2,069 centidrills by 3,023 6/7 puns, not punts, as might be expected. This is not to say, however, in any sense whatsoever, that deviations in mean temperature of 5 or 6 dregs or so indicate a fabrication or derivation sufficiently broad enough to exacerbate.
Am I supposed to grab it while it
in due
yawns?
course, with regards
Because
to
it
the
gives me a little
dimensions,
prompts.
consistency, mass, or thickness inherent in the menial suckling grouse.
Alexander makes a grab for the pearl.
I was gonna bite my hand off.
You fixed my mouth. It feels great.
I wonder how many lines of dialogue they have there.
Ah, the little oyster drifts into peaceful slumber with the rest of his oyster friends.
Adorable. Okay, let me save. I guess I could go try trading in the pearl. Get my ring back, maybe? But I don't have any other use for the
This
ring.
pearl is the largest Alexander's ever seen.
Let's teleport.
Alexander...
Then I might be stuck, and I might need a screen to go to where I can do something.
Alexander feels...
Hey,
Good
dude.
day, Prince Alexander.
Sup?
I found this large pearl. Might it be valuable enough to ransom back my family ring?
I have never seen such a perfect pearl. Certainly you can have your ring back.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't sell it. I'm a bit attached to it, I'm afraid.
Of course you are. You would be cold-hearted if you felt any differently. I am happy to see a family heirloom back with its rightful owner.
Okay, well now I have my ring back, but I have no idea what to use the ring for. So what is a screen that I can make progress on right now? Now I can go to the bookstore. Oh, okay, thanks. There's other places I can progress as well.
I will be right up. Now.
There's no reason...
What can I do for you?
There's no point in... Alexander... Alexander is... Why would Alexander want to offer the strange man his insignia ring?
Good day, sir. Is there anything you can tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
I'm sorry, but I have no time for idle conversation. I'm too worried about the princess.
It's like Snagglepuss. I've heard that voice used in a lot of different contexts. Snaggletooth or Snagglepuss voice. We've got Droopy Dog.
Determined to learn more about the strange man's
here we
relationship
go.
with the princess, Alexander shows the man his insignia ring and formally introduces himself.
I'm sorry to insist, but my name is Alexander of Daventry, and...
What was the actor's name?
The offer of the ring, Alexander, but I'm afraid I'm already spoken. Daventry? Where have I heard of Daventry? Flying flit mice. You must be Prince Alexander.
I think it is the Mad Hatter
Cassima told me
too.
about you when she arrived home.
Edwin.
How came you here?
Why, by a ship, now wrecked upon the sand. But you know Cassima? She truly spoke of me?
Yes, I saw her briefly when she first returned home. She mentioned a prince to me, the Prince Alexander of Daventry. I'm afraid that was before she was told about her parents' deaths. You see, she arrived home a few weeks too late. The king and queen thought they'd never see her again. It is said they died of heartbreak. I'm afraid she's blamed herself.
What a terrible homecoming. If we
It's
had only
depressing.
known.
Terrible indeed, poor thing. Everyone in the kingdom seems to despair with her these days. The streets are silent.
Where is she now?
The princess is sequestered in mourning. It's a rather dated tradition, and not required, but the Vizier says she insisted out of respect.
I see. You've yet to say who you are, and how you know the princess.
I? Oh, pardon me. My name is Jollo. I am clown to the royal court, and had been since the marriage of Cassima's parents, King Calipham and Queen Ilaria. Oh, those were the happy days. The pair of them were so full of joy and life, so in love. And Cassima's birth. It would be
It's
hard
2000
to explain
had
how
living
long they had
parents.
waited, how they had hoped for a child. I mean, she was such a charming little thing, smart as a whip, kind and sweet. Oh, she means everything to this kingdom, Alexander, and to me. I'm so terribly worried about her.
About her grief over her parents, you mean?
Well, the truth is, I do not trust the Vizier or his plans for Cassima. I'm still living at the Castle of the Crown as court clown, his clown. But it is more to keep my ear to the ground than out of loyalty.
This dude is earning his paycheck.
I wish I knew what the princess thinks these days.
If only I could find Sing Sing, Cassima's pet nightingale. I might be able to send the princess a message. As it is, I must wait for the end of her seclusion. Now I'm afraid I must hurry back to the castle. I'll try to return to the bookshop again later.
Thank you for speaking with me, Jollo. I hope we meet again soon.
Well, I think I've seen the nightingale in the tree. Oh wait, what book was he reading?
Alexander rests his feet for a moment. Alexander picks up
No worries. I'm fine with missables.
Of court entertainers through the ages. Well, that was refreshing. Alexander. Well, that was refreshing.
Follow Jollo. It's right here. Up there. Get it?
A nightingale perches on a high branch of the tree. She sings the most beautiful song Alexander has ever heard.
Hello, Nightingale. What a lovely tune you sing.
The nightingale only looks at Alexander suspiciously and continues to sing.
Can I trick it?
Alexander winds the mechanical nightingale and places it on the ground. The mechanical nightingale sings a sweet, tinny tune. The real nightingale in the tree cocks her head and listens intently. The nightingale flies to a lower branch and looks at Alexander curiously, as if she were deciding that this human might not be so bad.
Oh, thank you.
The nightingale sings her crystalline song in the boughs of the old tree. The nightingale looks at Alexander curiously, as though waiting for something.
Hello, little Nightingale. Of what do you sing?
The nightingale only looks.
Was I supposed to have the nightingale lower when Jollo walked past? Am I in trouble already for that? Or are we fine?
Although the nightingale seems interested in Alexander, she would never allow him close enough to grab her.
He's just blind. Okay.
The nightingale looks...
Waiting for something, eh?
Alexander winds the mechanical nightingale.
Wind the clock.
It
Chug, chug, chug. Magitech armor.
Tune. The living nightingale in the tree listens to the tune curiously. The nightingale sings her crystalline song. The nightingale looks at Alexander curiously, as though waiting for something.
Can I give it my ring? Do I give this to the girl?
Alexander holds out his insignia ring to the nightingale.
Oh, nice.
She perhaps is the nightingale that Jollo
The logic of this game. Sometimes like, yeah, that makes sense.
Able to take the ring to Cassima. The ring is the one thing he has that might alert Cassima to his presence on the Isles.
That's the kind of, like, possibly frustrating
and grabs the ring.
Adventure game step that feels really good to have guessed on your own, but would be annoying if you didn't think of it. Pretty well motivated for a King's Quest game.
Perhaps to Cassima?
Jollo did a pretty good job of setting it up, I think.
Sing, sing. What have you got in your mouth, my pretty? A gold ring? Sing, sing. Where did you get this? Realm of Daventry. But this is Alexander's ring. Oh, my soul. He must be here. Sing Sing, I wish you could tell me what you've seen. Is he really here then, on this very island? Oh, if only I could leave this castle as easily as you. Take this ribbon, Sing Sing. If you know where he is, return it to him. Please be careful, Alexander. It is so dangerous, and yet I could not wish you away.
Thanks, Princess.
The little bird makes a delivery.
Used to build a nest. Yeah, the Vizier is definitely a good guy.
It's a red velvet hair
All
ribbon.
video game chancellors and viziers and advisors are good guys.
To Cassima herself?
Or am I merely wishing it were so?
Oh. I think the only chancellor I can think of in a video game that's not evil is the one in Super Mario RPG.
The lady's hair ribbon is made of the finest red velvet. A long strand of black hair is caught in the ribbon. Alexander examines the red ribbon and finds a strand of long black hair.
Is that a separate item now? It is.
The hair from the red ribbon is the color of midnight. Alexander can only hope that it belongs to his true love.
Cool. So when I need to, like, go into, like, a genetic testing chamber and scan her DNA, we're good to go. Alright, so... now I'm stuck again. I need to get something that's going to get me past the eyeball gnome. Something that'll get me past a boiling pool. And I mean, maybe I have the stuff to go do the Minotaur's Cave, but I won't know. I guess if I just ask, hey, let me know when I can go do the Minotaur's Cave, that would give away what item it was that I needed, right? Hint I can get on any screen. Got no time to plot. Right. Is the hint... Sorry, is that an in-game mechanic to get a hint?
Alexander searches for a way to reach the black-haired girl whose memory will not escape him.
Talk to the hair.
That object has nothing to say. That object...
One of them's gonna have really cheeky dialogue. We're going to talk to it.
The lady's hair ribbon is made of the finest red velvet. Alexander's carrying a little ink bottle. It appears to be empty. The feather feels very There's no reason to use that on the ink bottle. The small green mint looks very tasty. The mint might melt if Alexander held it too tightly.
God.
That object has nothing to say.
Okay, so it's not like, what's the game? Monkey Island, where, like, sometimes, like, it's not dialogue, it's talk. It use mouth with, which usually means talk, but sometimes means eat, right?
The path is well used. Alexander eats the mint. Not bad. A little stale, perhaps.
Alright, let's go get another mint. So I can get the hint on any screen tells me that it's something in my inventory. I can do something with something else in the inventory. Give me another mint, please. I'll probably need to restock another one in a sec. Watch this be the kind of mean game where there's a finite number of mints in the jar. There's 15. Once you use them all, it's game over. Soft lock. Okay, well, is it true that I'm not able to do the gnomes yet? And is it true that I'm not able to do the Minotaur yet? I can do the gnomes. Huh. I don't think it's the hair or the ribbon. The ink?
Alexander's carrying a little ink bottle. It appears to be empty.
Are you fucking kidding me? I think that's the silliest of the 5. The other ones are all make sense. Alright, let's go. Yeah, I guess that could be a trick too if I show it the ribbon or something, but I think it's invisible ink.
Alexander
Save when I get there. Cute. I'm gonna jump through all of their conversation because we've done most of this. We just haven't done the last gnome. This reminds me the most of something like Labyrinth or Dark Crystal.
Alexander contemplates.
Excuse
Alexander.
me.
Listen.
Alexander.
He takes forever to wind this one up, even though time is of the essence. He wound it up super fast for the bird. Love that dude's little dance.
A nose.
This guy wants some mint.
Taste.
Alexander.
There's a mint in the box.
Alexander holds.
Alright, last one.
Old Bill Batter, never fatter. Vision can resolve this matter. Look you now and end this chatter.
Alexander pours the contents of the empty-looking ink bottle over himself.
Oh, over himself. That makes a little bit more sense.
By all that's beauteous, fair, and sightly, 4 morons do I sleep with nightly. There's nothing there at all, I say. Enough of this. Let's now away.
Really should have started with him. Cute. Some Tom and Jerry shit.
Alexander did it. He's fooled the guards.
Oh, if you used some on it before, you would try to open the stopper, it would splash on you? Oh, that's cool. I see, that was the you can do it anywhere clue.
A string of letters floats in the water. Alexander picks up the object floating in the water. It appears to be a string of letters. They say, "Where are you going?" Alexander decides to keep the odd sentence, even though it is incomplete. Alexander is carrying, oddly enough, a sentence. It says, "Where are you going?"
That's really weird. Okay. You save really quick. I guess all the other items I gave to the person. That's why I didn't think the ink might have been it.
Wow. Hiya, gorgeous. Oh, what a luscious-looking hunk of flesh you are.
Thank you, I guess. Who are you?
Your sentence reduced.
Of you to pretend not to know. I'm Black Widow, of course. The fairy tale is all femme fatales. Know what I mean? You know, I was just thinking it was time I found my 50th, another husband. It would be quite a horror, an honor to have me as a bride. Just look at my beautiful weaving. It's so light, so delicate.
Clearly on the up and
I
up.
want to leave my little nest.
I think she's normal spider
It is
size.
a lovely web, but my heart is elsewhere, I'm afraid.
That's why his heart's elsewhere.
The loss is yours. I'm sure you'll change your mind once you consider the advantages.
An intricately detailed spider's web has been spun between a pile of books and a small tree. A thread is hanging from the otherwise tightly woven web. A black widow is sitting in her web. She has long legs and an hourglass on her belly. She gives Alexander a knowing look.
Hey, don't touch that thread!
Brilliant mono sound.
A black widow is sitting.
Some people like to ask for trouble! That scrap of paper blew into my web from those books over there. The wind just thinks it can deposit anything here.
I didn't actually get the thread. Maybe that was my chance to get the paper when she fell.
Reaches out to grab the scrap of parchment.
After my goods, are you? What a greedy little
We'll try it
gnome
again.
you are.
Alexander feels the sharp prick of the black widow's teeth. Then, a strange burning sensation.
Wow, wow. It's like the Dies Irae.
That's what you
But
get
for
referring
failure.
that old scrap of paper to me.
Alright, try it again. This one, right? I think I went right first.
Don't.
An intricate... Alexander snatches the scrap of parchment, curious to see what's written on it.
Nice. Love. You just lose it?
Blows the scrap of paper from Alexander's hand, but he remembers what it said well enough.
Huh. Oh, there's unique lines when you die? Okay,
The tale
gotcha.
of this island is a riotous scramble of books, sand, and a spider's web.
Okay, so love was the word. I'll have to add that to my post-episode reminders if I don't get to use it right away.
Piles of stacked books, looking ready to topple at any moment, have been arranged haphazardly on the sandy ground. Piles of stacked books. Alexander feels his pocket.
What
Hey,
do you
what's
think
up?
you're doing?
I'm sorry. I didn't realize these books had an owner. I'm in need of a rare book.
No owner? All books have owners, my good man. And this book owner, bookworm to you, wouldn't part with one of his books for anything.
Isn't there something I can do for you to pay for the book?
Let's see. Do you have an itinerant clause?
No. No clauses at all, I'm afraid.
I have an incomplete sentence.
Exception, you always should.
Don't mind oxymoron and diphthong. They're fairly limited grammatical principles, you know. Let's see. A marsh pig that does Texas. A dangling participle.
I'm fresh out.
A purple fiddle whacker.
No, I don't think so. Sorry.
An idiosyncrasy, perhaps?
Afraid not.
Ha! Then what good are you?
Can I give him the incomplete sentence?
There's no reason. That would.
Do you have anything interesting yet?
A regular abnormality?
Oxymoron and diphthong?
Let me see what I have.
There's nothing.
I have a sentence. Would that do?
An incomplete one, I suppose.
Why, actually, it is incomplete.
Just as I suspected. Incomplete sentences are a dime a dozen. Why, you can literally just find them floating about. Complete sentences. Ooh, now there's something that's hard to come by these days.
I see. Sorry.
Interesting. Okay. I couldn't combine the word love, right?
Carrying, oddly enough, a sentence.
So I didn't make a mistake by losing the scrap of paper that said love, right? That's just information that I have to commit to memory. I was planning on adding that to my end of episode reminder for the next episode, but...
The tail end of this island.
What it does. Information. Spooky marsh.
A large tree stretches knotted limbs out over the swamp. Part of the tree's trunk is shaped like the face of a dog. Why, it must be a dogwood tree.
Oh.
My dear tree, is it true that your bark is worse than your bite?
Nice.
Milkweed thrives near the mucky swamp. Small bottles filled with milk grow on it like fruit. Alexander takes a bottle of milk from the milkweed bush.
Literally a bottle?
Apparently, the dogwood tree doesn't like Alexander standing that close. The glass bottle is full of milk. How strange for a plant to produce not only milk, but a container to go with it.
How strange indeed.
A mushy swamp lies just off the path. It doesn't look like very good swimming. A stick is stuck in the middle of the swamp.
It looks like a person stick.
Alexander sees no point in trying to talk to that stick in the swamp.
But I want to talk
Why
to
would
the stick.
Alexander want to throw that in the swamp? The swampy bog sinks beneath Alexander's weight. He feels himself being sucked slowly but firmly down into the muck.
And that was the end of Alexander.
As the marshy water fills Alexander's mouth, he thinks that although he'd always wanted to try a mud bath, this is hardly what he had in mind.
Heard some sass from the narrator there.
Tickets. Oh. Next.
Do you ever get that sinking feeling?
Okay, so make sure we stay on the death screen for a bit. Let's see.
The fallen log has a good-sized knot or bump. The bump on the log does not look particularly interesting to Alexander.
Bump on a log, hole in the bottom of the sea, something, something. Alright, let's try going this way. Whoa, this place is loud. Okay. Oh my god, these things are terrifying.
Unless Alexander is mistaken, those plants must be baby's tears.
No, not okay with
Alexander is standing in a delectable garden. Nestled in the bright green grass are colorful plants growing in orderly clusters. Some of their curious faces peer up at Alexander from the sides of the path. The garden ends at a speckled gate.
Hello. Aren't you a bunch of fine-looking young plants?
Apparently, the baby's tears haven't learned to talk yet.
Great.
Alexander doesn't want to pick the baby's tears. They may not be done growing. Those tomatoes are not quite ripe yet, and Alexander shouldn't pull them off the vine. Those vines of sweet ripening tomatoes climb up little wooden posts. Vines. Is that lettuce growing in the garden? It looks a little chilled. Why, it must be iceberg lettuce. A patch of iceberg lettuce grows in the garden. Alexander picks a head of iceberg lettuce.
Ye gads! Is that cold?
Okay, so we probably use that for the
Alexander is
boiling pond.
The head of a queer-looking lettuce made of ice. The lettuce is rapidly melting.
Rapidly melting.
A colorful array of
timed
dragons stand guard to one side of the path.
What a curious little black spot.
The hole in the wall does not reply. There appears to be a hole in the garden wall. Through the hole in the wall,
that's
Alexander
terrifying.
sees a land that resembles a giant chessboard. Wow, it really is a hole in the wall. Zounds, those wallflowers sure are shy, and the snapdragons are awfully protective of them. Alexander can't even get close to the wallflowers without causing quite a stir.
Literal wallflowers.
A noble white chess knight stands at the top of the marble stairs. A red chess knight stands at the top of the marble steps.
Steps or stairs? Make up your mind.
Excuse me, what land lies beyond?
What land? Chessboard land, you knave.
I see. And is chessboard land part of the land of the Green Isles?
It is the home of the red and white queens, rulers of the Isle of Wonder, fairest of the islands that owe loyalty to the king of the land of the Green Isles.
I see.
What do you mean?
What is the purpose of unity with the great king and queen dead? The princess is worth serving, but the feud with the other isles is strong.
Oh, hey. They're like actual chess pieces, too. It's not like representing chess pieces.
I must insist, Your Highness. I shall send a lump of coal to the Vizier and the princess as a present for their wedding, and that's the end of it.
And I suppose you'll leave me with only this stupid spoiled egg to send, Your
You a
Highness.
fan of the adventure genre?
Impress the new king and
Nazareth?
queen of the realm as much as you do. As queen of this island, I have every right to that lump of coal.
Who isn't queen of this isle? The lump of coal is in my possession. Therefore, I shall do as I please with it. Besides, there's nothing wrong with that spoiled egg.
The egg, though delightfully spoiled, is not nearly so valuable as the lump of coal, and you know it. Your Highness always got to carry the singing stone. It's not fair that you get the coal, too.
That doesn't count. The singing stone was stolen by that horrid beast.
Oh.
I should get to keep the coal just because my stone
Beast Island.
It wasn't your stone. It belonged to the Isle of Wonder treasury. Your Highness...
Cool, I just recently streamed both of those games. I never played them as kids. Didn't have a PC.
Excuse me, my good man, but could you settle an argument for us?
Sure.
Which of us should get to carry the coal and which the egg? Remember, white is the color of deserving truth and virtue.
Quiet, Your Highness, and let him make up his own mind. I, for one, shall be more proper, and not even mention the fact that red is the color of love.
I'm sorry, Your Majesties. I'm partial to both red and white, but I'm afraid that I don't know how to solve the problem.
Alexander's a dummy, but he's not stupid.
And allow the others a lump of coal.
What a ridiculously stupid idea.
Quite ludicrous.
I'm not walking into this one.
He was a lot of help, wasn't he?
Oh, yes. Obviously a man of high intelligence.
Hey, sharp your
The lump of
scarf.
coal goes much better with my gown anyway. Black and red are imperial colors.
That's the
Yeah, but you get
silliest
contrast.
thing I've ever heard. Red does not go with anything, being much too self-conscious. White is the perfect accompaniment to any color.
So he just stares at the screen like, what do you want me to do with that? Let me grab this.
Alexander picks up the Red Queen's scarf.
It's pretty great. All right, that's time for King's Quest 6 today. We'll be playing this again in the future. Future Marstead, a couple things to know. Make sure you load this game with Scum VM. Don't just look up King's Quest 6 on your gaming PC because you will not have all of your saves, and that would be very sad. You found a scrap of paper in this playthrough that had the word love on it. You lost it, but just remember that the word love is going to matter at some point from a piece of paper that flew away. You need to complete a sentence. You need to solve the Minotaur's maze. You need to bring this iceberg lettuce to the Isle of the Beast and use it to get past the boiling pond, or at least I think that's what you're supposed to do with it. Not actually 100% sure. Thanks, folks. That's it for King's Quest 6 so far. I am enjoying this game quite a bit. We'll be back in a few with Trails of Cold Steel.